Good afternoon. I'm Derek Miles, and I'm here today to talk to you about the measure of a leader, what I like to believe is your ultimate responsibility. When it comes to ultimate responsibility, what if I told you that every single thing the people you lead does is your fault? The good, the bad, the things when you're not around, every single action is your fault if you're claiming to be their leader. And that could be if you're their boss, their supervisor, their coach, their teacher, their older brother, their parent. You are ultimately responsible for everything they do, big or small. And when you adopt this philosophy, this mindset, eventually it's going to be hard at first, I will admit, especially when you're not around, but it causes something to switch inside of you. You stop blaming, well, they did this or that happened. You start realizing, I need to start building. Did I set my expectations clear? Did I train them well enough? Did I show up as the leader they needed me to be for them? And when you adopt this philosophy, your team starts being really successful. But to get there, I think there's 3 dimensions that will help you build upon this philosophy, because it is hard. First is going to be the mind. Second, the body. The third, spirit. It seems a little cliche, but it does help. So the first, the mind, the foundation. It all is about clarity and competence. So when you have someone that you are trying to lead, do you let them know the rules, the expectations? Do they know what is expected of them to succeed? I know I've been yelled at because I broke rules that I didn't even know what the rule was. Maybe it was a parent, a boss, and they're coming in hot, and I'm like, I didn't know I broke a rule. And they're like, you should have known better. I actually think it's the parent's fault or the leader's fault. We kind of abdicate that authority when our people that we're leading come to us like, I don't understand. It is your responsibility that they know these rules. And that's the very most basic, that's the foundation. But we can build upon that. Above that is they need to know the consequences. Because I know I've broken rules. If I would have known the consequences, I wouldn't have broken that rule. Hands down. I'm like, oh, that's the consequence? No, I'm not breaking that rule. But then there's other rules when you're like, oh, I just get yelled at? I'll break that rule all day. Like, oh, I can get yelled at. I've been in the military. That's easy enough. And so when you build upon that and you build a team, they know the rules, they know the expectations, and they know the consequences, they're more successful. The second part of the mind when it comes to that clarity and competence is training. They have to know how to succeed, whether you're a teacher, a coach, a boss, a supervisor. They need to know what success looks like, what right looks like. How do I do this thing? How do I pass that test? How do I be successful at this job? How do I get good? And so that is your responsibility, your ultimate responsibility, to make sure that they're well trained, that they have the skills. What are your processes? Build upon that foundation. That's why you're getting paid or you're going to school. That's the reason you're showing up a lot of times. Make sure that they're skilled at it. And if they're not skilled, it's your responsibility to get there. Building upon that further, you have to be skilled. So a lot of times, maybe you're the coach's son, or you're really good friends with the boss, or the boss's cousin. There's all different ways sometimes you end up in these leadership positions. And I've met many leaders that kind of just ended up there, and I'm like, why are they in charge? And we all look around like they don't know how to do the job at all. And they try to lead in this awkward way. They're like, do this. And you're like, when you do that, everything breaks. Don't do that. And so when we build upon those skills, you also have to be trained. Sometimes we just blame others and point down. No, you are also responsible. I know for me, I would never go to financial advice to someone who's broke, fitness advice for someone who's out of shape. You need to be good at the thing that you are preaching. And that's part of the foundation. The building upon that even further, expectations. What does success look like? And so whenever I'm coaching someone or mentoring someone, I always set the bar as high as possible I can for them. And I've had subordinates, players, people that I'm leading, family members. They're like, that seems pretty high. That seems pretty far to reach. And I'm like, that's my job as your leader to set that bar for you. I think you can get there, and I'm going to give you the training, the expectations to reach that. Because that's what we're going to build first, is the foundation with that mind, clarity, and competence. But going beyond the clarity and competence, the next part, the body, that physical thing, our presence and our perception. And so when I say the body, I don't just mean being like fit and super ripped and all that good stuff. I mean, it's how we interact. It's our body language. It's our presence. When someone comes to you, how do you react? Hey, I made a mistake. And you're like, again? And so that small interaction may seem small, And I've had leaders like, well, that's just how I am. That's an excuse. You have to meet those people where they're at and recognize that your body language says things before you even open your mouth. The moment you walk in, the first thing they're going to see is your body language, your posture, and you have to control it as a leader. That's your ultimate responsibility. You can't abdicate that one either and be like, well, that's just how I am or how I grew up. That doesn't work anymore if you want to be the real leader. You have to manage those things, especially your tone and your voice. A good example of that is a simple 2 words, good job. I can say that a million different ways and it has a million different meanings. Hey, good job. Good job. Good job. And all of those mean something completely different. But if we read them off a transcript, they would all mean the exact same thing. Oh, you just said good job with that one person. But we all took that a different way. What is our presence? What is our perception that we are giving off? How do we make sure that the things that we're giving, the weight of our words and our actions resonate with the people that we're leading so they can actually take to heart the training and the expectations and that we know that we can meet them where they're at? Another part of that is our own kind of biases and own nature. Sometimes I can be kind of indifferent. I'll be honest. It takes a lot to get me like kind of angry or upset or sad. I'm pretty happy all the time. But that's not an excuse. Because maybe someone comes to me and they're like, hey, my dad died. I can't come to them like, sorry to hear it, like in my normal happy-go-lucky mood. That's not the appropriate time. I gotta catch myself. Sorry to hear that. Sit down, connect with them on that interpersonal level. Because you have to meet the people where they're at, not the other way around. And sometimes we get that mixed up as a leader. The next part about that people say is perception is reality. I can agree, but I also kind of disagree. Their perception of you does matter, though. And that is done through how we deliver those interactions. When someone comes to see you in your office, are you still clacking away on your keyboard? And you go, hey, glad to come see you. You put away and you give them that attention. You actually maybe stand up when they see you and shake their hand. Hey, I'm glad you could come by. What are those things that you're doing before you even open your mouth to show that, hey, my perception is I care about the things that you're saying? The next part about that, the spirit. Okay, and I don't mean that in a religious way. I mean that's your character and your values. Okay, and the reason I want the spirit analogy is because the other ones, they're very tangible. There are processes, the body language. I can see those things. Your character and your value, they're kind of intangible. You can't really grab onto it. It's not something you can hold onto it. When someone says, oh, they've got good character or they have good values, it's this intangible thing that just they aura they kind of carry about them. And it's formed in those moments where they make decisions, sometimes hard ones, sometimes easy ones. And then the best thing about the whole spirit and character, easiest way I can give you guys a trick to actually mastering this is caring about people. It is very easy for human beings to see when this person doesn't care about me or they care about me. It's night and day. We've all met those bosses like, oh, you only care because I'm a good worker. Or you only care because I'm the star basketball player. The moment the game is over, you don't care about my family life. You don't care what I'm going through. You're just glad I'm the MVP or the all-star or I can do this job or I'm an A student. I'm going to raise your test grades. You don't actually care about me. And so in those moments, when you're gone, your character echoes. Your character, your spirit, who you are and how you lead linger beyond your presence. It reverberates like some sort of large boom. I still remember coaches I've had 16 years ago in those little moments where their values and their characters shine through. And it resonated with me like, wow, this person really does care about me. And I want to emulate them. And I want to follow them. And I want to be just like them. Because they set processes that felt alive and training that felt alive. And they were really like, hey, I want to know about who you are and what you care about. And to this day, I still feel like I'm being led by them because they took on that ultimate responsibility on everything I do to this day. Some of them 20 years later, I still want to be like them and emulate them and be successful. Because the difference between a manager and a leader, a manager will do the first two. They'll have processes, they'll train you, they'll fake the body language, but that little bit of care, that spirit, that intangible thing that resonates is missing. And a good boss will be remembered for the success that they do, but a great leader will be remembered for the success they contributed in others. And so my lasting words for all of you is don't chase recognition, chase responsibility. Thank you.